Wexford have confirmed that 7 players have left the club following the end of their League One campaign. Hooker Carl Keswick departs, having been with the club since 2009, while Jordan Howden, Connor Bauer and Connor Scott will also head for the exit door. Richard Owen, we talked about last week, he's retired, whilst Greece international Stefanos Bastas and Callum Ogden, who I don't think is a Greece international, complete the list of departures.
Keighley have signed centre Jake Webster, good grief, on a 2-year deal from Bradford. 35-year-old, I'm sure he's more than 35, arrived at the Bulls ahead of the 2019 season from Super League side Castleford, scoring 12 tries in 25 appearances. Webster will combine playing with working in the Keighley community as a representative from the Cougars.
What's your take, Al?
Well, we probably couldn't afford him. I think it's quite interesting that rather than usually like centres will drift out to the second row and then to the prop, it appears rather than drifting position, he's drifting leagues. Yeah, good luck to him. I mean, I quite enjoyed him last year, but I think Father Time is definitely catching up with him.
A news story that was made for our "I'm Finally" section. I think we've taken this from Love Rugby League's website, but 2 Salford fans thought they had won a £23,400 bet, but bookmakers William Hill are refusing to pay out. Chris Shenton and friend Gary Smeaton, who were apparently sat just a row in front of us at the grand final, backed the Red Devils back in January when the odds were stacked against Ian Watson's side. The pair paid £50 each to place £100 on a double accumulator bet, with one bet backing Hastings at 25-1 to be named Super League's Man of Steel, and the other tipping Salford to finish in the top 5 at 8-1. They thought they were the £23,400 better off last week after Hastings was crowned the 2019 Steve Prescott Man of Steel, with Salford also having obviously clinched that top 5 spot well before that. However, William Hill have said they regard the duo's double bet as 2 single £50 bets and are prepared to pay out just £1,700 to Chris and Gary. This apparently infringes some betting rule that I'd never heard of, but does intrinsically
William
make logical
Hill have
sense.
Just made up.
Yeah. So, David, what do you think of this story? Do you feel
I'm not a gambler. Yeah, well, I do. I'm not a gambler, and there's a reason for that. You never see a bookie walking, do you?
There's no need to say anymore, is there?
Well, best of luck to those guys when they go to the betting commission or whatever they're going to raise that with. I think everyone's pretty sympathetic to the fact that none of us knew this rule existed, so it seems like a bit of a technicality. Poor fellas. The bet was taken. Pay out. Right.
Just pay the bet.
Okay. Whilst we're not going to be around every week over the next few weeks or so, make sure you do go and read the Total RL and the Love Rugby League websites and the BBC Rugby League pages as well to get all the news whilst we're away, and obviously support every other rugby league media out there. We'll be in and out of your off-season lives, but we're not going to be weekly, so find your news elsewhere. But come back in February. Right,
please.
It's now time to do our last wrap-up of this regular season, and I've got a international themed quiz to move us into the international season for you both, so something to look forward to. So SLP quiz time. I've got 3 questions, and I've built them so that it can be interactive between you two as the extra hosts on this, David and Alan. So everyone else can play along at home as well and see if you beat the 2 guys here. So the first question is, how many times has legend Sean O'Loughlin played for England and Great Britain combined? The nearest guess wins. So I'll let Alan guess first and David guess second.
Long career, but he's got a reputation as being crocked at the end of the year, almost as much as Saints players. 32.
Alan's guess is 32. David, what's your guess?
I am going to go for 40.
Why did you do this? I didn't have a tiebreaker.
36.
36.
Half a point each.
Right, okay.
Half a point.
Shall we do half a point each, or shall we make you to go to the next level guess and ask
No,
you to guess how many
hey,
times
I'll
you've played
take
for
a-
Great Britain?
I'll
We'll take half
a
each.
point.
Okay. Well, that 36 games is made up of 25 for England and 11 for Great Britain.
Okay.
Wow.
There you go.
So, question 2. And we'll let David have first guess at this one. But how many games has Lachlan Coote played for Scotland? And that's a tiebreaker if you guess the same, because you can. Then I want you to tell me who was his debut against and in what year. So, David, you can go first. How many times did he play for Scotland?
I'd say 10.
Alan?
I don't think it's as many as that. He's played a couple of tournaments. 6.
Okay, well, you're both further out than I was expecting you to be. He's played 3 times. He only played in the 2016 Four Nations. So, of course, he made his...
Was it the first one against New Zealand? Is that
It
the
was
first
Australia.
Australia.
He debuted against Australia in the game at... Was it at Coventry? Anyway.
I don't know. The only thing I remember was they got a draw against New Zealand, didn't they?
Yeah. We played against Australia. According to the wonderful Rugby League project. Okay.
I don't doubt them.
Question. So who was closest? Alan was closest, so Alan wins on that one. So, final question. Which of the trio of Canberra Raiders players that are in the Great Britain squad have played the most games for England? I suppose it's a tiebreaker. Then if you guess the same, then it'll be how many games has that player played. So which of the 3? And as Alan is leading, we'll let you go first on it, Alan.
So just a name.
Just a name. For now.
Bateman.
Okay, so I'm going Whitehead anyway.
Right, okay. So Whitehead has played 20 times and is the correct answer. We don't have a tiebreaker for this scenario.
We'll take an honourable draw.
We'll take a draw. We're
both proud of that. Yeah.
Hodgson's played 19 times and Bateman's played 16 times. So there you go.
Jeez, I don't think Hodgson had played that much. But anyway.
Well, yeah. So.
Yes. I don't doubt you.
He also has played twice for the England Knights, which the other 2 haven't done. They went straight up with the big boys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so do you guys have anything else you want to tell the listeners about? Any recommendations, anything like that? Alan, anything from your weekend in Manchester, perhaps?
Well, I had an amazing kind of fully loaded tofu hot dog, but I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but it was amazing.
Do you want to tell the people where they can find that if it is their cup of tea?
No, it's my secret. No, it's a place called V-Rev, which is in the Northern Quarter, where all the hipsters hang out. So as long as you don't mind a few dodgy tashes hanging around, and I don't just mean on Alex Walmsley's pictures, then you can head there. That's really good. But yeah, the only other thing I was going to say is if you can get to Headingley on Sunday for England Knights against Jamaica, then come along, because I will be going.
Yeah, and quite a strong squad named by Jamaica, it seems like. Should be a competitive game with obviously England Knights having some of their players maybe not there that they might have thought they would have done, because some are in the 9s maybe or what have you, or injured, because the Saints players are all injured, aren't they? You don't care about the national team, do you? Just care about yourself.
Now you can no longer call us bottlers. You've had to move on to some other Saints problem.
Yeah, unpatriotic.
Yeah, well, that's a long-standing problem.
Hate the international game. That's what you do. Referees in the international game, you hate them both. It's disgusting. To call your chairman to account for his behaviour. Anything from you, David?
So I've always been a fan of Altrincham Market ever since I first found out about it, and it's a magnificent place to go. It's open all weekend, sometimes in the evenings during the week as well. But if you like good food and good drink, and there's there's a craft market and all the other stuff, but for food and drink, it's absolutely brilliant. It's an interesting setup. I think they've opened one in Manchester now called Mackie Mayer's as well, which is on the same design. So it's like picnic table, trestle tables in the middle, and then there are little restaurants all around the outside of the market hall, of the old market hall, and then you just go and order from whichever one for your tables. You've got lots of choice, but the pizzas there are something else.
So you can all eat together, but all have something different.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Very good on a Sunday afternoon. Oh, and there's a little wine shop, and it's fabulous. Trust me, you could spend hours and hours and lots of money in there.
Good stuff. Okay, right. So we've kind of got a bit of an end of season break coming up before we then have the end of season awards show, which is going to be, I think, the second Monday in November. I think we've settled on. So. We're going to look at doing maybe a recap show after the Great Britain tour as well at the end of November or start of December. So yeah, but we'll also try and have a few shorts and specials and that sort of stuff over the off season, so you don't forget about us. And then we'll be back obviously for our 7th year in 2020, which is remarkable. But yeah, until then, if you want to keep in touch with us, you can find us at Super League Pod on Twitter and Instagram. It's facebook.com/SuperLeaguePod. Or you can email, which is where you need to send your audio reviews, your 2-minute audio reviews of your team's season, to superleaguepod@gmail.com. You can check out Alan's blog about why you should pick what he wants you to do for Coach of the Year, amongst all the other writings we've done this year, and all the details about this episode and all the other episodes too at superleaguepod.com. You can search for the show on Spreaker, iTunes, Leaguecast Android app, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, rugbyleaguemedia.com, and YouTube and Google Podcasts. Please do subscribe to us on YouTube. We've started putting the odd video on there, and if you subscribe, I think it's better for us, so do that. Alan, do you want to take the wonderful listeners through our wonderful partners?
Yep, so Rob's Toy Shop, enter SLP discount at checkout at Rob's Toy Shop on eBay and get 5% cash back on orders over £5, plus give 1% cash back to SLP. Little Wardian, monitoring the tedious and hidden, whatever the other one is. Head to littlewarden.com to see what they can do for you. Mascot Browns.
Alerts for hidden issues.
Hidden issues, that's the one. It's not quite as catchy as monitoring the tedious. So Mascot Browns for all your international rugby league gear. Perfect at this time of year. Use the link shown on the episode blog post, and we'll get 8% of your order value to help our running costs.
Yeah, of course it is coming into gift time, isn't it? And what's one of those
Christmas
things that you wouldn't really necessarily find the money always kicking about for, but when you got to buy someone a present, what better than to wake up some international rugby league gear on Christmas Day?
Yeah, just really to give hints to partners. Yeah. And finally, Sarah's bookcase. Sarah sells Usborne books, and with access to over 3,000 titles from baby to teenager, there's something for everyone. And you can find out more on the Facebook.
Yep, just search Sarah's bookcase there. You can also make a donation to support SLP if you like. PayPal.me/SuperLeaguePod is where you can do that. All donations are obviously hugely appreciated, large or small. They'll help run our sort of hosting costs through the off season. If you donate £20 or more, you can pick up an SLP beanie hat, which I was sporting mine at the weekend. So if you check out our Instagram feed, I think you'll see a picture or two with me with the hat on. But yeah, thanks to everyone for listening to all the episodes throughout this regular season, and particularly this grand final recap. If you are listening still at this stage, you just need to go onto Twitter and Facebook and hit share or retweet or whatever, or go into your podcast app and click the share button and make sure more and more people find out about our show and we can grow the SLP community. But thank you everyone for being involved, and also huge thanks goes to Alan, as always, and David for coming back and making another wonderful contribution, even though it meant that we had to talk about St Helens winning another bloody trophy.
Yeah, well, to be honest, Mark, I think you've done a really good job. You've kind of, you've managed to, get your way through it.
He held it together. He held it together, didn't he, Alan?
Even though, quite frankly, some of the pro Salford stuff he was shouting on Saturday night was disgrace.
Well, to be honest, it was the right outcome, wasn't it, for this season?
Yes,
but don't make me say too much. Let's just
No.
Oh no, let's.
That's the end of that. Thank